Hey traders, John Howell here from officialjohnhowell.com. In this video I'm going to share with you just one little simple strategy that you can sort of keep an eye out for to see sort of when the market is likely to turn, or if we're going to get into a crash like most people are saying, when that's likely to happen and what the visuals actually look like on the charts to actually help you move forward when it comes to that. Again, my name is John Howell and this is just general advice only. I do not take a trade based on what I'm saying in this video. The reason why is, as you know, that 95% or a lot more, I believe, actually lose money in the markets and don't ever make any money in the markets. And so therefore, trading the markets is hard. And you're gonna need a lot more than what you learn in this video to get your head. I'm just hoping I can add a little bit more tip to your arsenal to help you move forward in the market. You're gonna need coaching, you're gonna need systems, you're gonna need strategies, and you're gonna need, really what it comes down to is some really good dedicated strategies, but to that consistent and ongoing coaching to really help you now. And let's actually see what is actually this little technique is, what it is, and how it all works. As you can see here, right, if we look at this chart that I'm looking at right now, we're looking at a weekly chart. It doesn't matter what chart you're looking at. What it comes down to is it comes down to the peaks and troughs of the overall market. And what I mean by this is you can see how it had a high here, had a low here, so had a trough here, come up, make a high here, come down, make a trough here. We can see we had this peak, so peak, trough, peak, trough, peak, trough, and you can see how we make it. We're getting like a bit of a squeezing in. Something market runs up and creates a higher peak. Now, a bit of a short-term sort of analogy. Let me actually just quickly take a screenshot of this here with my Snagit tool, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. In any market, okay, in any market, real simple analysis is this: is that in an uptrend we have higher peaks and higher troughs, and in a downtrend we have lower peaks and lower troughs. So when we're looking at this chart here, I've just taken a screenshot of, we can actually see this. We can see how the market came down and it's made higher troughs and it's making lower peaks. Well, that's who's in control? No one, right? We've got a bit of a triangle pattern happening through there. Market runs up, market creates like a little trough through here, market makes a little peak through here. We have like a little peak and trough through here. But as you can see here, right, with the market overall, if we look at this, makes like higher peak, higher trough, higher peak, higher trough, sideways, 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 break up, and then we can see this market ran up through here, trough, higher peak, came down, guess what, made this lower trough, ran up, made this lower peak, and lower trough, lower peak, and then we had the breakdown. Okay, and you can see the market moving down through here. Now, where was the changing in tune through here? Market ran down, and let's actually change this here to a bit of a square. Let's actually change the color here for a minute, and let's just make this a brownie color. Okay, and we can see, right, we have peak, trough, lower peak, lower trough, lower peak, lower trough. You can see the market's continuing down, right? So then we have a bit of a high trough. Now we'll get, what's this? This here is what? We've now had our very first what here? This is our very first higher trough, right? The very first higher trough. And now we've had our very first higher peak, comes down, gives another higher trough, peak, a trough, and then the market runs up. See that? Market comes down now, gives you a trough, a lower peak, and now a continuing down. So the point I'm trying to say here is, as you can see, whenever we're at major turning points, we start to get, if the market's making high peaks and high troughs, we start to get this lower trough and then lower peak before the market turns down. We start to get a higher trough or a higher peak before the market turns up. So if I just delete this chart right now and we bring up let's just bring up, say, the S&P 500 here, okay, S&P 500, and we're looking at this chart right now. Look on the weekly chart. If the market is going to come down, one thing we really need to keep an eye out for is just simply looking at the chart, right? And so the market is continuing making high peaks. It hasn't made a lower trough yet. There's two different sort of points that I'm looking at here. This one here is the first point that I'm looking at. But if the market starts to really break below this level here, then you better believe we are in a completely change of tune of trend. Completely change of tune of trend, because as you can see, right, going back since mid 2011, the market ran up, right, The market had a higher trough, higher peak. The market's been this big channel for all that time. And based on what I just told you just then on that simple analysis, what are we looking at? We are looking at saying, okay, if this market does break down, okay, if this market does break down, it's going to create a low trough through here. That's the first warning. But especially if it starts to break below this trough through here, meaning these levels through here, then this level through here is a major indication. This one here, if market breaks below this this level through here. If the market breaks below this level through here, then it's showing strength. If it breaks below this, it's showing weakness. If it breaks below this level through here, it's showing more weakness. And especially if we start to get some real big downward movement from here down to here and breaking below this level, you better believe we are in a serious downward movement. Okay, look back over in September 2008, right? Higher trough, higher peak, higher trough, higher peak, higher trough, higher peak. Higher trough, lower peak. Guess what? What was this here? This was a lower. This was a lower trough. Then we had a lower peak, and then the downward movement come. Look for that lower trough. That's the first thing I just say. We can see fundamentals are lining up. This market's going to be crashing, but the things that we can look at is by looking on the charts. This is John Howell here. If you'd like to learn more about how I get involved with the markets, and if you'd like to learn the top 30 mistakes that most traders make that stops you from moving forward, and you want to get better at trading, then click on that. Click on this little button up here that says top 30 mistakes. Let's take another page where you can learn that. This is John Howell here from officialjohnhowell.com. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.